Hello everybody and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. This is Stefan, and as ever deeply appreciative of your support and viewership. So this is my 32-gallon long tank from SR Aquaristic, a fabulous company with great products. Go to their website, you'll see what I'm talking about. They're in Elgin, Illinois, but they do an online program as well, and I'm dying to go see their showroom. It's supposedly the best of the best, like beyond pet store, a total experience. So 40-mile drive to Elgin, I don't know, but they delivered this tank to me in the summer, free shipping, and it was one of the first I set up. If you remember, I did a dark start, and if you want to know more about that, just search my videos or the term. It's a pretty cool way to prevent new tank algae, that whole plague, and it pretty much worked for me. So I gave this tank a massive trim and cleaning and water change the other day. And that's after the dust clears, as it were. It's a great time to make a film of any tank. You don't want to film right after all the trim because things look a little shaggy, kind of like a haircut. You want a day or two for it to settle in and start looking the right way and copying the vibe. And that's what this one is doing. I've also dialed up the red a little bit more on this fabulous aquarium light from Chihiro's. I love that company, great product, and you can literally adjust the blues and the yellows and the whites and the reds. And I dialed up the red to help augment not only these fabulous long fin white cloud mountain minnows, but the substrate, and even this piece of driftwood and dragonstone, which has a lot of red in it because of the clay. And the few red plants I actually have, they just, totally groove to the red hue. And it's fun to play like that. Like, I don't know what the optimal, and of course, speaking of red, there's my red bristle nose. Got him from Ocean Design Aquarium on northwest side of Chicago, maybe my favorite local fish shop in this town. Anthony's a great man and knows everything and has good product for both beginners and high-end aquascapers. And I got that fish from him. What else can I say about this tank? I love it, I love it, I love it. It has some of the wood sticking out, a very on-point trend that's been going on for years, and if you have a rimless tank, you can do it. One thing though, it precludes you from a lot of fish because you just can't put lids over it, and you don't want to create some kind of jerry rig with half lids. And I mean, I don't, not if I'm gonna take the effort to make such a beautiful living water box. I don't want pieces of plastic and sawed up stuff. But you can have certain fish, certain killifish, for example, hatchet fish, but they're all gonna jump, and they really will. Even with floating plants, they just find a way. I have some floating plants. My new thing is to sort of cut them back a little bit because just to change it up. I love the look of deep roots and coverage across the top, but just to change it up, I thought I'd see more of my fish tank, and front to back, top to bottom. I think I've accomplished that, and they'll be in a week. If I don't do anything, the whole top will be covered again. You can buy one allotment of frog bit from your reputable local fish store, and that'll last you your whole fish room. I mean, I've populated my whole fish room with a handful of these plants I got from Tony at Ocean Design Aquarium. I trim the roots because they go way, way, way down, and although that's an awesome effect, like I said, I just wanted to see the fish and livestock a little bit more, at least for a while. And I got no complaints from the inhabitants. I'm sure they appreciate the real estate, even if they lose some of their cover. But they've been in this tank 5 months, give or take, so I don't think they're skittish anymore. I don't have any skittish fish in this tank. I will say the laser cories, which were much more prevalent in the early going, are now a lot more reclusive, which is too bad because they're a gorgeous fish. And I know they're not dying on me because they will come out during feeding. And obviously I've found no dead ones, and I investigate my tanks pretty thoroughly. Sort of like monkeys when they're checking their kin for little mites and bugs. I mean, I go through this tank and look pretty hard to make sure there's not a big dead plant or a carcass or something like that, because what a way to corrupt your ecosystem. Usually a shrimp, I'll discover something dead because it'll be surrounded by a mono shrimp or Neocaridina and other scavengers. It makes it easy to spot, and obviously easy to clean up if I do miss it. So just another advantage of a good cleanup crew. Waste disposal, funereal services. This is Sterigen repens. It's doing exactly what I want. Not a total pervasive carpet, but in the areas where it is an algae-free, lime green, low and lush effect. I'm really happy with that. It took a while to get there. Sometimes they can get leggy and look kind of really bad, honestly. So you got to trim them, maybe move them around, make sure they're in the right place with the right treatment. But these are doing awesome. I like to put a top of a stem or two from my other tanks in here. This is not a stem plant aquarium by any stretch. I've got veils in the back from Windy City Aquariums. Those are tiger veil area, so they've got like a purpling and spotted effect. I guess they're also called leopard for that reason. Tiger, leopard veil. But they give it a purpley red vibe, so that's sort of the motif of this tank, a purpley red vibe, more red. I don't know where purple came from. I suppose there's a lot of that color in these. Look at that male in these white cloud mountain minnows. These fish are constantly in action. This is not your father's white cloud mountain. These aren't the white clouds you would get in 1978 at a pet store for 29 cents each. They cost more, but they are more. Look at that big fat female. Strangely, I haven't found any fry, given I've got 20 of these fish in here, give or take, and clearly some fat egg-carrying females, like that one I'm following around, and the male is doing his thing with her, so they gotta be doing the deed. But who knows, maybe the cories are just scooping up the eggs. This isn't a breeding tank. I'm not too worried about it, but I'd love to see some fry, but I'm not gonna pull fish out and waste my precious fish room space on a breeding project unless it happens by osmosis. So if I see a pair spawning and then some fry, I might take that to the next step. But for now, this is a display aquarium. And if you have any questions, I didn't talk about all the plants, I didn't talk about all the livestock, but I gave you a general overview after a deep clean. If you have any more thoughts or observations or want to ask me something, please do. It will be my pleasure and privilege to answer any and all questions. It's one of the many, many things I love about this hobby and what technology has brought to it. All right, everybody. Per usual, always keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.